If you like my content, please like and click on the subscribe button. Click on the drop down and select all to see regular updates.
So in this video, I'm going to explain how to dynamically create the average of the rolling 3 month sales. So for that, you need two tables. You need a sample table called financials, and you need to create a date table because we'll be using some time intelligence functions. So for that, you need to use date table. So if you want to understand how to create date table based on the financials data, I strongly recommend you to watch my previous video. So once you have the financials table and the date table, you can establish the relationship between date table and financials one to many. So I have the data starting from September 2013 and it goes till December 2014, and you have the total sales. So now my task is to create the average of the rolling 3 months dynamically. So for that, I will create a new measure. So let's create this average 3 month sales. So using time intelligence. So I'll going to explain two ways, one using time intelligence and one without using time intelligence. So first using time intelligence, I'll use the calculate. Since I want to calculate the average, I'll be using average x of table. So table will be simply values of date. Okay. So date of date. Sorry, sorry. It'll be for since we want for month, so we'll have to use the date of sequence. I'll use the sequence because that is the column I'm using it to sort as well. So date of sequence, uh, comma expression, which is simply total sales. Okay, so total sales is nothing. It's simply the sum of sales amount. So sales column, you have a column called sales in financials table, and this is simply sum of sales table. Okay, and now average x is created. So if you create this, right, if you just simply create this average x and drag it here, so it will give you nothing. It will give you the same values, right? So no change at all. So what I have to do is I have to make sure that the average is of the rolling 3 months. So last 3 months average together I have to show here. Here if you see for every month it will be the same, but for the grand total it will give you the average of all the total sales. But I say I want the average of the rolling 3 months. So for this I need to use a function called dates in period. Okay. So dates in period is a function built in time intelligence function. So it will help you create the it will help you filter out the rolling 3 months, right? So if you observe the parameters carefully, so you have dates, start date, number of intervals and intervals. Okay, so dates means nothing, you need to enter a date column here. So date of date is the date column here, and start date. Okay, so here date of date, start date is nothing but the current month here. So whatever is the current month, right, this will be considered as the start date, because we need to calculate the difference from the current month and go 3 months before. So whatever is the start date is the current month. So current month, how do we get? We simply use the max of date of date. Okay. So max of date will give you the current, and intervals. So we want three intervals, right? So minus three, comma. You want it in months. So from the date column, we want to subtract 3 months. Okay. So that's why you enter month, and you simply complete this function and create, right? So now if you see here, the average 3 months value got changed. So if you see, say for September, since this is only 1 month, so average of the 3 months will be considered as 1 month only, because there are no data for the for there is no data for months before September, right? So that's only 1 month is considered. For October, you have October and September. You have 2 months, so you need to calculate the average for these 2 months. So how do we do that? So simply it's 92611 plus 448400 divided by 2. So you get around 6.8 million. So here average is uh, average of these two sales amount. And here from here on we want rolling 3 months, right? So average of these 3 months you'll get. So which is 448400 plus 9295611 plus 7267203 divided by 3. you get 7.015 million. Okay, but for December you need average of December, October and November, right? So now let's calculate the sum of these three values. So 9295611 plus 7267203 plus 5368441 and divided by 3, you get 7.3 million. Okay, so in this way we calculate the rolling 3 months average. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. So you have the dates in period function which will automatically take care. Okay, now what if, let's make it slightly challenging. So we have to solve this without using the dates in period, right? That's where the fun part of the DAX starts here. Okay, so now let's create a new measure. Okay, and I'll this is average 3 month sales without time intelligence. Okay, so I do not want to use any time intelligence functions, but I still want to achieve this. So how do I do that? So simply calculate off again. um, since again this average x will not change here, average x of values of date of sequence comma total sales. So this one will give you the average x value, but now I have to use the filter function of table. So here what I'll do is, the filter what I'll do is I'll make sure that I'm filtering out, I'm showing only 3 months of data here. Okay, so for each and every month, when for each and every month I make sure that I filter out only the previous 3 months of data. So how do I do that? So first I use the all function and I close, because I do not want to so I'll explain you why all is required later, but for now all date, and so date is less than or equal to max of date. Okay, and date of date is greater than e date. So there is a function called e date, and what is the start date for this? Max of date, and e date so returns the date that is the indicated number of months before or after the start date. So since I want -3, right? Since I want to go 3 months back, so -3. I'll close this e date and I'll close the filter function and I'll close the calculate function. So now I'll drag this. So if you see, everything is the same. So now let's deep dive into this formula, because I've written this very fast. You might not understand it perfectly. So what I'll do, deep dive this. So let's create a simple line chart here. Okay, some chart here. Okay, some line chart. Okay, and here I'll drag in the sequence in x-axis, uh, year also, and month name. Okay, and in the y-axis I'll simply drag the total sales. You get some line, um, and make sure I'll sort the axis on sequence, and should be in ascending. Okay, so it's starting from September, it's going till December. Okay, so now what I have done in this measure. So first I'm calculating the average x. So this is pretty straightforward, right? So you're trying to calculate the average x. So first you're taking the date sequence, which is the 2013-19, and for each and every month you're calculating the total sales. Okay, so for each and every month you're calculating the total sales. So this particular table with these two columns, sequence and total sales, will be created, and on top of this table you're creating the average, right? So average of this total x, you are calculating it automatically, right? So that is the average x. But now we want, since we want only the rolling 3 months, right? So what this filter function is doing is, instead of taking for each and every row, it is calculating all the rows. So but instead of taking the entire data for each and every month, when it is calculating, it is making sure that it is taking only 3 months into consideration. So what I'm doing here is, date of date is less than max of date of date. So let's consider February 2014. So now we are trying to calculate the rolling 3 months of February 2014. So date of date, so less than max of date. So for February 2014, where is, yeah, February 2014, we want to make sure that we consider all the dates before February 2014, right? So from February 2014, all the dates before are considered. That's why this date of date is less than or equal to max of date. So here, once I use this February 2014, all the dates before that are considered. So that's why I written all of all I have used the all function. So when I use the all function, I make sure that this particular date of date is not filtered on, not filtered by anything, and this max of date will give you the current month, right? So date of date less than or equal to max date of date. So February, all the months before February are getting considered, but we do not want that. We want only 3 months, and date of date is greater than e date of max date of minus 3. So we want only 3 months, right, from the current month. So February, January, and December. So we want to make sure that this date of date is greater than December, greater than November, minus 3 months. So 3 months before February is January, December, and November. So greater than November. So from December, it will, all the months forward of December will be considered. So once you do the union of these two conditions, you'll get only these 3 months. So that's what the filter function is doing here. So once you reduce the time size for each, when you're trying to calculate the average x for each and every row, you're trying to reduce the total dataset size. So this filter function will make sure that the total dataset size is getting decreased. So it is making sure that whenever you are calculating the average x, the dataset size is only 3 months. That is what is being considered here. So in this way, we calculate the average 3 months sales with using time intelligence and without using time intelligence. So hope you all understood the concept here. And if you like it, make sure you click on the like button and also click on subscribe button for more videos. Thank you. Have a nice day.